Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
What's up, champ? How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
So you have been on a journey, my friend. A lot of things have happened. First of all, congratulations on securing this fight. That is a big deal. A lot of people doubted it was going to happen. You were right.
Thank you. Yes, it was a big deal. It wasn't easy, but we finally get it. You know, I get a help of a lot of people, and the Saudi were very interested about this fight.
Yeah, it was one of those fights where you had to take a big gamble by relinquishing your UFC crown and leaving.
I didn't relinquish anything.
You didn't relinquish it.
Yeah.
Well, fill me in then. Tell me what happened.
Well, we didn't come to an agreement.
You didn't come to an agreement.
Yeah.
So you decided, I'm not signing with the UFC. You're a free agent.
Yes.
And then did negotiations then start for the Tyson Fury fight? How did it start?
You know, it's been like 4 years since Tyson Fury and we've been going back and forth on social media. So there was a little bit of a warm-up somewhere there. And it kind of like take a couple months before we get to a conversation. You know, it wasn't just easy. Those boxing promotion, the boxing world is a little wild.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's a different animal.
In what way? Like, explain to us.
Way that they do things, you know, it's this guy from this promotion fighting with this guy against this guy from this promotion who has a better position, who has what to lose, who is getting what, and then how them kind of like put things, I will not say manipulate, but a little bit like that. Everybody trying to adjust things on his own benefit. Mm-hmm. Look what is good for him, which is good, but yeah.
A lot of boxing fights don't get made.
Yeah.
They get talked about for a long time, like Tyson Fury and Usyk. For a long time was Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. They get talked about for a long time. And they almost get made, and then they don't get made. And they almost get made, and then they don't get made.
A lot of politics behind.
Yeah.
A lot of promotion that will be behind the fight just to, you know, push their position. Everybody is pushing his position. It's not mostly about the fight. It's about like, okay, what we control the game. Do we have enough control here? Do we control everything? Yeah.
So was it frustrating for you? Because I imagine there was a while where you weren't sure whether or not it was going to be made.
It wasn't frustrating, you know. Before I made my decision when I separated with the UFC, and I knew, I mean, long time before, like I remember even when I fought Ngannou, even before that fight, I was telling myself, and I was even telling this on interview, like, okay, if this is the end, then he has to end my way, you know. So not because I was sure that it's gonna happen. I knew that he could have not happened, right? But I was to be in peace with my decision. So that's the thing about it, and I'm very happy that it happens. Makes it even better. But I knew there was a risk that it didn't happen, but I had to take a chance.
So what was the holdup with the UFC? Like what led you to not sign?
There was a lot of frustration over the years. I think since my fight against Stipe, my first fight against Stipe, my relation with the UFC never been the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? In what way?
I don't know. I tried everything. I wasn't I feel like I wasn't in the right place. And after that, then I get the Derek Lewis fight, who was like the worst fight, and that didn't help me at all, you know. So I think from that moment I was already put in some position out there, because I came back, I won multiple fights, and they came with a new deal. This was after Junior Dos Santos back in June 2017, and then he was Mick who called for a new deal, and then until my team was on the way to the negotiation, who was in Anaheim when Stipe and DC was fighting the second time, and then I'm like, no, Dana say no new deal for Francis. He still have 3 fights on his contract, and to be honest, I was even happy because I wanted to knock that deal out. By that time, I understood a little bit about the market. I just wanted to fight out my contract and renegotiate as free, But then a month after, we get a call from, I think, was Hunter or somebody there. Yeah, they say, oh, yeah, let's talk about a new deal for Francis. And at that time, like, there's not a new deal. We just want to fight, It's already September, or yeah, we are in September, and my last fight was in June. I want to fight, So the new deal staff be holding me back. They didn't give me a fight.
Because they wanted you to sign a new deal.
They wanted me to fight a new deal.
You didn't want to sign a new deal. You wanted to fight your contract down and renegotiate.
I wanted to fight my contract down.
So they were slowing things down.
They were slowing things down. So that if you see like the interval between my Junior Dos Santos fight and Jorginho Rosenstruck fight was almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's also COVID, right?
Yeah, there was a COVID in between, but without COVID, he would have still been like 10 months, right? And then from Rosenstruck to Stipe, same thing. Then Stipe to Ngannou, almost the same thing. He was mostly about the contract.
So then finally you fight out the contract, and then what happens?
We didn't come to an agreement at all, because during this time there was still a negotiation, pushing and stuff, and I wanted to fight out that contract. Proposal of money, obviously they know my position because I was pressure financially. When you have a fight, you expect to fight at least at that level. At that moment, I was expecting to fight at least 2 or 3 times a year, right? Then I get to the point that I have one fight, I have nothing. So I was limited of income, stuff like that. Then I started borrowing money. Even before the Stipe fight, when they announced that fight, I need to call to ask for advance of my purse to finance my training camp. I have no money. But I was there training and getting ready for almost a year. So I took some advance. So
that's got to be very stressful.
Yeah, but one thing, and that's like one thing that I'm always grateful about my life. I used to this situation, and I told myself, like, these people, they don't know me. I can live out of nothing. I live in the street, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm here in Las Vegas. You think like, okay, I don't fight. I just have to change everything. I'm able to live out of the bare minimum. And I don't care if I walk around, you guys say, oh, champ, oh, that's a UFC contender, whatever it is. Man, I just live based off what is in my base of my asset. I don't live beyond that. That's why, like, I don't really trust those credit card system or those loan and stuff. That's America shit, bro. I don't trust that, because when he lets you down, he lets you down.
Yeah, for sure.
I check my wallet, whatever is in my wallet, I live based on that. I don't go loan and stuff unless like I'm forced at some point, or it's an investment, like taking the money, borrowing money for your training camp,
Right.
That's a different thing.
So you win the Cyril Gane fight, then what happens?
Well, then first Dana didn't come to the ring, to the octagon for the belt. Yeah, and then after that, they get this dinner, invite us to this dinner, trying to smooth things out. Again, the condition at that time, I think at that time for me, he was more than a contract. He was like a lot of frustration from the past almost 3 years, I'm like, okay, I have no guarantee that signing this contract I will not get into what I have been to in the past 3 years. So how about we change something that will make me feel secure?
And what did you want to change?
A lot of things. I want in my contract. First of all, I want a contract without extension, because I have seen how they can abuse of those extension.
Can you explain to me how the extension works?
Oh, well, I mean, there's not a way that it works. The extension is that because they say if you deny a fight, they can extend you for 6 months or something. If you're hurt and can't fight, they can extend you for 6 months or something. But the problem, the UFC is the judge and the party. They decide if they will extend you. You have no say. So when they say, oh, you fight tomorrow, you say, no, I'm like, okay, no problem. We were just checking. And then maybe a week after, you will receive a letter of extension, like your contract has been extended for 6 months. And that's what happened with me. Even if you're injured, like say if they propose a fight for you, like here we are in September.
If they propose a fight for you in Madison Square Garden in November, and you say, I can't because I'm injured.
Oh, no, that extension.
Then they put up a 6-month extension in the contract.
That's extension.
Anytime you refuse a fight? Is that what it is?
Yeah. And refuse is subjective.
Right.
Depend of the term of subject.
You can't fight because you're injured, like when you tore your knee ligaments.
Oh, no, that is an extension.
Extension?
Yeah. That's clearly an extension. For example, my extension, for example, the first one, when I fought Stipe, right? And I have been fighting almost once a year in the past 3 years. I fought Stipe on March 27, and then April 2nd, Mick is calling my team. And I tell them like, oh, I want to fight, stay active. I want to fight twice this year again. Summer, which is July or August, and December. And then April 2nd, they are calling to ask me to fight. And I was getting ready. It was a big moment in my life. I'm like, I'm bringing this trophy home. Right?
You're the champ now.
Right. And they called to ask me if I can fight in June 12th. It was June 12th? Yeah. June 6th or something like that. Well, I'm like, bro, give me a time. I mean, they say, no, we were just offering in case, because Francis said he want to fight twice this year. I'm like, yes, I do. And I said July, the earliest, and August, and December. And I know that I can take 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks out, maybe go home, do stuff, and come back. And I'm like, no, totally understandable. He was just to check, in case it's work for you. He wasn't really. A couple months after, I received an extension about that. But you know why? Because my contract originally supposed to end in May 20th of that year. So if my contract ended on May 20th at that year, that means the championship close kicks in, which is 1 year. But if they extend me, I have to go all the way to the extension before the championship close kicks in. So it was more time. Yeah. So, and when they say, no, it's okay, no problem, we were just checking. And I was in Cameroon on May 19th. So 1 day before my original contract, which was 14 months, expired. And then the championship kicked in. I received an extension letter. I was in Cameroon suffering of COVID at that time. So I received an extension letter. So now I'm extended until November 20th.
Even though you told them you wanted to fight in July?
Yeah.
So they just tack on?
Oh, no, they just tacked on. And you have nothing to say. It's effective from the moment that they send that letter out.
Okay, so your new contract, you wanted no extensions. That's one thing.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
That's one thing.
Okay. What was one of them the ability to box?
One of them was the ability to box. They said that wasn't an option. Boxing is dead. It's not possible. This and that.
Now, what does that feel like to you, knowing that Conor McGregor did it and fought Floyd Mayweather and made $100 million? What is that like for you to be sitting there being told that you can't box?
Well, I don't used to take what people tell me for an answer. Right.
Right.
I used to do my own thing.
Right.
On my own way.
Right.
And it seems to work pretty good. So, but I wasn't going to force to change everything. I wasn't expecting to go there and demand this, demand that, and just have everything. You know, it's like, it's a big company. It's like an institution.
Right.
You know, so there is a way that they do things.
Right.
And that can change. So I'm like, okay, if so, let's take boxing out. Why? Because give me 3 fights, contract of 3 fights. I knew that I can knock a 3-fight contract in a year. Then from that moment, I was free, because I want a middle ground, like an alternative, a way to get out by giving something out. You know, to get something at the end.
Got it.
You know, because it's really hard to get in the negotiation and just like, oh, I want this, I want that, and want that, and stop there. At some point, you have to compromise, to push back, give something in order to get something.
Yeah.
So stuff like that was the thing that I was about it. And that seems to be attractive to them. So 3-fight deal, no extension. That seems to be attractive. 2 fight was supposed to be potentially John Jones fight and rematch, and 1 fight is the trilogy with Stipe. That was the request, and work for both parties. Then we get to another point: sponsorship deal. Why sponsorship deal? Because before that, I had a deal. After the Stipe fight, I had a deal on the table for over $1 million for a cryptocurrency wallet. So I was going to have, like, I think 1.2 million, which is the money that I never had in the fight. I was going to have that in the sponsorship, and the deal was this close to sign. And then they announced the crypto.com deal. And then the party pour off. I'm like, hey, bro, we can't do. You understand our position. You can carry this in the octagon while behind we're trying to push. You know.
Did you try to make a deal with crypto.com?
No.
No?
At that moment, crypto.com, they don't care.
Right.
Because
they have a deal with the UFC.
They have the deal with the UFC. And you're going to wear it whether you like it or not.
Right.
You don't have a say. And now I'm like, I think this is messed up. We need to sort this out. I need a sponsorship. I need a right to have my own sponsor. Fighters should be able to have 2-3 sponsorship on their gears. I mean, I understand that we want to make the sport grow, make it nice, but we can also, meanwhile, you can have a department who check all those sponsors, like, oh no, this is not good because of this reason. It doesn't represent the sport well, right?
Right.
But there are a lot of good stuff out there that will also help fighter to, to provide, to get a little more money. And that was another discussion. I'm like, oh, you can't do that. That's not work. I'm like, okay. So what is working exactly? They make me some kind of like a proposal, which I don't know, who doesn't even make sense. But, and the other one was like, because of the fact that I was in this position for so long and I was just so powerless. The reason why I stay in this position, why I keep holding my ground, was only because in the contract, there is what they call the sunset clause. So meaning like after 5 years from the beginning, from the day you sign the contract. Doesn't matter what is in the contract expires. The extension, they can extend you past that date. So my end goal from the moment that I know that, okay, I'm going to hold this ground, I knew that I have to face some obstacle. So my end goal was the 5 years, the sunset.
Okay.
I had the sunset date in my mind, December 9th, 2022. I had that day in my mind for like almost 3 years. So when I was receiving all this extension letter, I mean, I couldn't fight it either way, but in my mind, I was just like, it's okay. One thing that I know, I just focus on December 9, 2022, and then you will be fine. So after that, then I'm like, okay, if I sign a new deal, I don't know, even if there's not extension, there have been a proof of like, how could I say, in a nice way, abuse of power, right? But why are we in this position? This is the position that every fighter get into, right? I mean, feeling powerless. We might be many hundreds of us, but it's every individual at time. We are very separated. Every case is separated. So, which means you're just weak. It's just you against the big monster, which is the company, the institution. So you can't fight. How can we make it make sense? I mean, we are not going for union, but at least you guys sometime before make some decision, how about you have somebody in the room who can understand things from our perspective? Because I do believe that all the decision that you might make will hurt us is not meant to hurt, but maybe just because you don't understand our position. Maybe if somebody there speaking for us, which again, I don't know who it could be, but just be mindful that, okay, this is fighter position. Maybe that will help.
So you go through all this, and then where did it break down to the point where you had to walk away?
He break down December 6th, I think was December 20, I don't remember, 19 or 22nd, something like that. I had a dinner with Hunter. After we been going through stuff, he said no to this, no to that, you know. But I have a focus. I know that, okay, if I give 3 fights here, since they are willing to take the 3 fights, it's going to make, you know, I don't want to break this relationship like this. I don't want it to be a war.
Right.
I can't stand. I can stand in this. But, so we can get trying to fix things up. But when we met again, that day was the first time over all this time that we have to talk about the financial aspect. I mean, he has to propose a financial aspect.
Right. So he proposed it at dinner.
Yeah, he proposed at dinner. And then I just like, this guy is making fun of me.
Make it funny.
Yeah.
So it was disrespectful? It was like not valuable enough for you?
No, at all.
And you're the champ at the time.
Yeah. I mean, no at all. Like when you're talking about pay-per-view, then you're negotiating pay-per-view, and then you see number like 1.25 pay buys and stuff like that, and the pay-per-view is going from $60 to $80 in the past 5 years, and you realize that the 0.25 that is on top of it is just out of the $20 that been added on. I'm like, come on, man. It's not my first pay-per-view contract, and
just wasn't enough money.
It wasn't even about the money, even how it was structured, even how it was. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You know, I went home and I was so, I don't know, frustrated or disappointed. I don't know how I can describe. But one thing I know, I went online, I'm like, I'm missing Christmas with my family. I'm here training for a potential John Jones fight, which might not happen. What for? Seems like we're not getting anywhere close. I booked a flight that night to go to Cameroon. And I was in Cameroon in the Christmas. And then a couple of days after, I received a text from Mick Manor, who was, you know, Mick usually sometimes just send me a friendly text to check on me. And then we talk a little bit, and then he talk about the contract. Like he heard that we didn't come to a term. I say yes. He said, like, is it anything that I can do? I'm like, I don't think so. We didn't just have an agreement. And he said, how about I make it, we talk again. Let's get in the meeting with Hunter again and talk. And as I said, Mick always been nice, and I couldn't say no. I'm like, yes, let's try. In fact, I wish it could have worked, you know, because to be honest, I never like really, before all this, I never imagined a life out of the UFC. I thought he would be like my fighting platform until my retirement or something. But clearly things has changed along the way.
So even when they came back a second time, it still was not enough.
Yeah, because when they came back, and all this time that we've been talking, they've been talking about the what is the term? Back pay. Yeah, we're gonna back pay you because from all the fight that I've been refusing to renegotiate the pay that they were proposing, they said they're gonna back pay me that. When they come out now and then make pay better, and now I'm like, okay, the back pay and this and that. And I'm like, no, everything is in this contract. This is it. And then I'm like, okay. Well, then I don't know what to say if you say this is it, because it's against your word. You say something and now you say this is it. I still don't have the back pay, bro.
So they proposed the back pay and then they took it away?
Yeah, they've been proposing the back pay before. After the Siri fight, they invite us to a dinner and then keep remind me how they're gonna back pay me, everything, because I have a good proposal at the time, but I know that proposal, and he was a good money, but I know he was just a bait to sign a contract. He was just to put the pen on the paper. He wasn't really like a good fit, like how they want to give me a good contract. And they get to the point that I'm like, no, everything is in this. I'm like, okay, I don't see it. And we were kind of like silenced for a couple seconds, like, what's that mean? I'm like, I don't know. Then we hang up.
Okay, so at that point, do you start to talk to people like the PFL and
No.
1FC and no?
No, at that point, I stopped. I didn't do anything. When we stopped that convention, I didn't do anything until like I started to see all these things on social media, and then I saw the Dana press conference. Like, oh, we get rid of Francis. Yes, he's not getting any younger. He's injured. I'm like, yes, he's not getting any younger, but you were trying to have him. He's injured, but you were trying to have him. Now, you didn't come to an agreement. You're batching him. That's when I started to respond, because I never really like want this like to be something on me. And I was expecting like maybe they go out there and just say, oh, unfortunately, we didn't come to agreement, and this and that, and thank you, good luck, right? and then we move away. But that's not how they do things over there.
So you decide to start talking to other people then.
Yeah.
And who do you talk to first?
People started to reach out. I wasn't even the one talking to people, and you know, at that time, I just want to let this weight drop out of my shoulder. For some reason, I feel relief. I feel relief. There was so much pressure into that process. You know, and I was in Cameroon. I'm like, man, just live your life, you know. Whatever is yours out there will come to you. Like, but I get the first person that reached out was Pete Mary from PFL, and then I was just like, yes, let's hear him out. And he came out. We speak. He asked like what I'm looking for and stuff. We speak. I'm like, looks good. A couple of days after, he made a proposal. I didn't even ask for not anything, but when he make a proposal, I look at the structure of that proposal. I'm like, this is good. You know, everything was being taken in consideration. You know, obviously there is always going to be a way to negotiate in a contract, but the way that they structured it, I was already happy. I'm like, I think this guy is trying to make me happy.
Yeah,
right?
Well, they need someone like you.
Yeah.
The PFL doesn't really have the big stars.
Yeah. So, but we keep that contract, and at that time I'm like, let's wait. I'm not rushing to anything. Take some times and everything. And then...
So you didn't sign that yet?
No, I didn't sign. No. We also get to a chattery. Even chattery reach out. We talk, same thing. And then a couple of days, they send their own contract. But when I was putting that contract next to the PFL one, it was day and night.
The PFL was much better?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
the PFL put a clause in to allow you to box?
Yeah. No, boxing was first to me, right?
And would the PFL be involved in the boxing promotion?
That was up to me.
Okay.
That was up to me. But they didn't really like want to. It's not their expertise, but if they can help in some way or be involved in some way, again, it's up to me, okay. Right? So, very independent contract. So, but I was more looking about like boxing. That's the first time that I started to have dialogue about boxing and stuff. You know,
and I know there was some conversations with you fighting. There was Deontay Wilder they talked about. I think they talked about Dillian White.
No, he was Deontay Wilder. We had a conversation with Deontay Wilder team. Even with him, I personally was under meeting with him, conference with him, that we were talking about a potential to fight him. So, and that was going well, and I think even to this day, we are kind of like open about it. It's just along the way he has a potential opportunity right away that they say, okay, we had like to pursue the conversation about what we have here, and for us, it was understandable. Where I'm like, okay, then let's explore maybe after. And then right after that, I have my own. I started a conversation for the Fury fight. Yeah. Because I get a call. I was driving to the airport, and then I get a call to meet in New York for some conversation about the Fury fight. And then when I get in New York next week, we schedule that on next week. I get in New York, we get to the room, I meet the people. It was the right people. We spoke. I heard them. I hear them out, and I'm like, I knew them, right? And I'm like, okay, this is legit. I think with these people behind this fight is going to happen. That's where I now put them in contact with my team to negotiate, because they wanted me do everything. Let's negotiate. I'm like, I don't do negotiation. I listen. I talk about like how I would like things to go, but I don't like to negotiate personally. Like,
Right, of
oh,
course.
I want this, I deserve this, I'm that. You know, I'd rather have somebody do that on my behalf.
Right. Somebody do that on your behalf, and you want to respond to a good deal. You want
To
a good deal brought to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want somebody. It's always good to have somebody in the mirror that would take the temper of both parties.
Right.
Because a deal can fall off just off because somebody is mad and this, and then like his ego take over and the deal is off, right?
Right.
But when there's somebody in between, and you always come to like, okay, it's not him.
Right.
And they still think about it, and that's what's happened. Because sometimes with my team, there was frustrated, and I'm like, oh no, this not working. And then they will come to you, and then you will talk nice, be a nice cop, have no problem. I'm like, no, but my team is saying this because of they didn't mean to offend you,
Mm-hmm.
But I think,
Got it. Frustrating, right?
yeah. I mean, no, not frustrating. I mean,
Complicated.
Yeah, but over the time, you learn, you understand how it works, and it's pretty easy.
Okay.
It's pretty easy.
So you're in the driver's seat now because you've left the UFC. You have all these opportunities on the table, possibly Deontay Wilder, then it becomes Tyson Fury. So when do you know that fight is actually going to take place? Because I know there was a
June.
June.
June. That was in June. We locked that fight. It was concluded. Everything was set.
So for all those months from December to June, you're essentially just trying to find where you're going to land.
Yeah, but before that, I agree the deal with the PFL. I think it was in March, but I made the request. I say, let's just figure out what would be my next boxing fight before we sign the deal.
So you haven't signed the deal with the PFL?
I haven't signed the deal.
Is it possible? Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Is it possible that you go and fight Tyson Fury and then the UFC comes back to you and says, listen, let's make this right and let's fight John Jones? Is that possible?
It's possible, but
That's what I want.
no, it's possible.
That's what I want.
It's possible, but they have to go to the PFL now.
Oh, because does the PFL have a contract signed?
Yeah.
You did sign a contract.
Yeah, I did sign. I say
Okay.
in March. It wasn't signed.
Right.
I signed in May.
Do you think the PFL would allow that?
Oh, the PFL is down for that.
Really?
Yeah, it's down for that.
Wow.
The PFL is
So
down
the
for that.
PFL would let you fight in the UFC. But what happens if you beat John Jones, you become the UFC heavyweight champion again? That's a problem.
I don't know. Maybe he'll be a special fight, a special belt or something.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a UFC belt. I don't know.
Yeah, the UFC
But
probably
I
would
have-
not be down for that. Like
Yeah,
you win the
ex-
title and then go fight in the PFL. That would be a
No,
problem. Yeah.
no, not the title. But, to be honest, I don't worry about the title. The title is not what I worry about. I worry about that fight, that challenge.
Yes.
And I wouldn't care if it was a fight without a title. So
Right.
I don't need a UFC title.
Especially with that fight. Like, what
Right.
difference does it make? It's John Jones and you.
No,
Everybody
that fight
knows.
is bigger than a title.
Yes, bigger than
The
title.
fight is
Yeah,
bigger than a title.
no doubt.
So deep inside me, I still have a little bit of hope, even though I know it's gonna be hard. But you never know.
Boy, that would be a big gamble for them. Because if you win, then you're the champ, but you're signed with the PFL.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay, so June, you get the Tyson Fury bout negotiated. Did you get everything you want? Was it easy?
Again, you don't work in a room for a contract to get everything that you want.
Right.
And at that moment, I was just so happy to get that fight happen, because from that fight, a lot of things will be open. That fight would open a lot of door. You know, sometimes even in the negotiation, sometimes you have to see long term, like what it comes with. Now I get this fight. I think it should have been the focus, right? After this fight, imagine hypothetically I go out there, knock Tyson Fury out. What do you think will happen for me now? Where does that leave me?
If you knock Tyson Fury out, you're the biggest combat sports star in the world.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So is that everything that you will want?
You want the cash. You
Of
gotta get
course.
the cash.
Then you will get everything.
Yeah, then you get the cash. Well, if you knock Tyson Fury out, the real money's in a rematch.
Exactly.
That's the real money. That's crazy money.
Hey, that's
Are
what
they
I'm,
giving you crazy money for the Tyson Fury fight?
Huh?
Are they giving you crazy money for the Tyson Fury fight?
Yeah, they're giving me a good money, and very great condition. I like a lot of component, and again, like a lot of component of this contract, who was like the treatment that they were giving me, the access, how easy they make stuff for me. You know, like it's gonna be the first time that my family gonna attend to my fight, and I don't even have to think about that. They're gonna work on it. They're gonna figure out how to bring my mom, my sister, my brother out to Saudi to watch that fight.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna take care of everything.
They're gonna take care, and I
The
think
Saudis know how to throw that money around, boy.
and I think that's something that for me was very, very important. I think
I see.
you know, I could have more money, but it wouldn't make me more happier than stuff like that. And you know, you kind of like work with people that you feel like, okay, they are trying their best, their very best to make you feel comfortable, feel happy.
Right.
I think it's also a partnership, you know. It's not like one shot, okay, take everything that I can take and go. How can we build something? Like, is it like somebody that I can trust? Can we build something for the future? And then when you feel like yes, you invest into that relationship.
Okay. So June, they negotiate the fight. Is it 12 rounds?
10 rounds.
10 rounds.
Yeah.
10 rounds, and they've created a new belt, right?
Yeah.
And you're happy with the money, you're happy with the conditions, you're happy with everything. So then in June is when you go hardcore boxing training? Like, when did you start, like, hardcore boxing training?
I was training boxing already. No, like I was in a camp.
But you're recovering from your knee surgery, first of all, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can't kick and you can't wrestle.
I can kick, I can wrestle. I mean,
But you have to be
obviously,
careful.
I have to be careful. But
How is the knee now?
I
100%?
don't have to worry about like kick, wrestling,
Right.
just knee. My knee is probably 90%. I mean, when you get a knee surgery,
Did you get any stem cells or anything?
not yet.
How long are you in town for?
I had a PRP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving tonight.
You're leaving tonight.
Yeah.
There's a company in Austin, Ways to Well, that I wanted to hook you
Ways
up with.
to Well.
That does
Yes,
stem
I
cells.
get in contact with them. I haven't get them do my exam, and I think Eric Nixick put me in contact with
With
He
Brigham?
sent me a contact.
I can take care of that too.
with Brigham.
Yeah, I can take
Yeah.
care of that too. I can help
About
you
the
out.
same cell if we have
Yeah.
a time, and I think
You should do that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
It'll
give
help
it
you.
a shot.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
It'll help you. It
it's
definitely
very,
will.
It's very important to take care of to maintain the vehicle.
Yes, obviously. Yeah, yeah. And what a vehicle it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, when you're gonna put it in a big crash like this.
So yeah, right. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because Tyson Fury is a monster.
He's a monster.
I stand next to him. I'm like, damn, this guy is big, right?
big.
I'm like, you really need to go full force.
Yeah, he's a big fellow, and he's very good, very skillful.
Oh,
you-
man.
you jumping to the top of the heap,
And
maybe
then-
ever.
And then I was there at the press conference next to him. And I'm like, yes, look, my fat belly. I'm a fat pig. I'm this. I'm like, don't you fool me. I
Yeah.
have seen you.
Look at it.
Yeah.
He tricks people with that
Yeah.
belly.
I'm like, don't you fool me. Don't you trick me, Tyson. I have seen you box, and you doesn't box as a fat anything at all.
doesn't. No,
Because
he doesn't. He's an animal.
if you just focus on his body, then you'll be like, oh, I think easy job. No,
Right.
man. When the
No.
guy is in the ring moving you, I'm like, okay, is it like something that they are remoting or something? I'm like, no, don't you fool me.
No,
I
he's
have
very,
seen you.
very skillful.
Yeah.
Very skillful. But,
Yeah.
you know, you have probably the most sensational punching power I've ever seen in the heavyweight division in the UFC. It's you and Derek Lewis. You're the two biggest knockout artists ever.
Maybe, but again, I think in the heavyweight division, everybody can knock
Yes.
everybody out.
Yep.
The problem is to connect.
Yes.
That's the most problem, bro.
Yeah.
When you work, everybody hit somebody in the shin,
Right.
it's going down.
But can you
How
connect?
to connect
Yeah.
the delivery system, and
Yes.
it's something that I heard once from Teddy Atlas, and it's stuck on my mind, like the delivery system.
Mm.
You can have the biggest missile, but if you can hit your target,
Right.
it's useless.
So when do you get involved with Mike Tyson? When did that start happening?
In training, or
Yes. Because I've seen videos of you training with Tyson. How much have you trained with him?
not too much. He comes time to time, not always. He's not always with me. But if you look like 4 years ago, exactly 4 years ago, and that's when Tyson and we started hit each other on social media. And 4 years ago was the first time that I met Mike Tyson. I was on his podcast, the Hot Boxing. And one request that I initiated at that time was like, whenever I fight Tyson Fury, would you be in my corner? And he said yes. That's even on my Instagram. It's still on my Instagram. Like the next day, I put that as a caption. Like he said, I asked him if he will be in my corner whenever I fight Tyson Fury.
Nice.
And nobody believed that this could have happened. Like, okay, cool. Then what? And when I get the fight, I'm like, bro, that thing is happening. That thing is manifesting himself.
Wow. And so Tyson agrees to be in your corner. And who are you training with mostly for boxing?
I'm training with Dewey. I also get
Dewey Cooper?
Yeah. I also get this guy from France named John Bumba that I used to work with him, train my boxing with him. He's a young, very young guy, you know. But I like his style, the way that his approach and stuff, and I really have a good connection with him. So what's up? I reach out. I mean, even before the fight, I was working with him, taking him in Cameroon, get some training already. Then when the fight get announced, I talked with him. Then I brought him out. So he's in Vegas with me.
And so you started your journey in martial arts. You initially wanted to be a boxer.
Yes.
And then when you went to an MMA gym, they convinced you to fight MMA.
When I went to France.
Right.
Yeah. No, he was even in a boxing gym that they convinced me to be an MMA fighter.
Really?
A guy from a boxing gym named Didier Camon, the first boxing gym that I get into. But he was also a martial artist himself. And he said, bro, I think you have a very good potential. I think your best outcome now regarding your situation, because I was still homeless at the time, I think your best outcome would be MMA. I'm like, what's MMA? He started to explain to me, like, you know, I'm like, okay, that sport that they do in the cage. He said, yes. I'm like, I have seen it. He said, if you train some takedown defense and jiu-jitsu, what is jiu-jitsu? He started to explain. I think you're going to be a UFC champion one day. What is UFC?
And how old were you when this was happening?
27. That was in 2013.
It's so crazy that
June 2013.
People don't understand that you started this journey as an MMA fighter so late in your life compared to most. Like a lot of these guys, they're training when they're 14, 15 years old. They're in MMA gyms and having amateur fights.
Yeah, and I forced my way into a MMA, and that's why like there was a lot of things that I didn't understand properly. I didn't learn as a athlete growing up, and until I get to a Stipe fight, the first Stipe fight. man, that Stipe fight taught me a lot about combat sport.
Yeah.
After that fight, I was at the press conference and telling people, like, I think I have learned more in this fight because here I've been, almost just 4 years and a half since I've been doing, but not even 4 years and a half since I've been doing MMA when I fought Stipe the first time. Yeah, and I said, I learned tonight I learned more than I have learned in the past 4 years in this game. And I think people didn't understand, but I meant it.
Well, you certainly showed it in the rematch. You certainly showed it in the rematch. And Daniel Cormier pointed it out. He said, patient, Francis. You were patient in the second fight. You didn't just rush out and try to take him out in the first round. Much more dangerous.
Yeah, because on my previous fight before Stipe, I wasn't rushing on anybody.
What about Rosenstrike? You kind of rushed him.
That was after.
Yeah.
I mean, before the first fight.
Right.
I wasn't rushing on anybody. I was knocking people out without rushing.
Right.
The thing that I did is, like, I get to the point that I really started to think about the knockout, which is something that I never thought about it. It just happened.
Right.
Then I started to think about it. So that's where I rushed.
Trying to make it happen.
I'm trying to make it happen. And obviously at that time, there was a lot of pressure on me and everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have to give a result. So that's why I was rushing. So I understand that night. I went back and watched that fight, and I saw me fight. I'm like, who is that guy? He just looked like me, but I don't recognize why he's rushing, why he's doing this. So then I understand. I'm like, okay, maybe you just have to go back to the previous way, the previous you, and then things will be fine. Then I went back to the
rematch, not only were you the previous you, but you were a way better version of you.
Mm-hmm.
You were very calculated, very technical.
It was 4 years, 3 years after?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, of course, I have learned. I'm in the sport to learn. I know that I have a deficiency. So I pay a lot of attention than those people that grew up as athletes, doing different sport. I always take that very seriously, the fact that, maybe sometimes my power hurt me to get away with stuff, but I know that I have a deficiency, as far as experience and everything, even techniques, because sometimes I hear people say, oh, yeah, he didn't train wrestling in the training camp. I'm like, bro, come on. You think 2-3 months training wrestling in the training camp will out-wrestle somebody that's been wrestling his entire life? No, you can't. You can't just find a way to go around. But, so that's how I process things. I think about the advantage. I always think of myself as an underdog.
So what did you change in your training after the first Stipe fight? Did you change anything?
First of all, I understand how to train properly. And again, I just think about everything as a deficiency. I used to think that sometimes I'm like, oh, yes, he has a good striking. He's a boxer. He knock people out. I'm like, no, I have no good striking. Everything has to involve, whether it's my striking, my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu. That's why people keep training. The day that you think like, oh, I'm good at this, that's the day that you start to go down, because you can't stay in the same place like this.
Right.
You're going to permanently try to go up. And even if you are not going up, that's how you can maintain your position. But if you stay comfortable with something, that's the day that you start to lose it. So I changed everything. I focus on everything, like all the aspects. That fight really helped me a lot. I think about my diet. I think about like the discipline stuff. Usually I'm good with discipline, but I still think about everything, put everything in prospect. Like, okay, is my diet okay? By the way, after the Stipe fight, I decided to cut soda out for a couple while before, and since then I never drink soda.
You were drinking a lot before?
Oh, a ton. A ton.
Even in training camp?
A ton. In training camp, I was eating croissant, everything. I was like, no, I'm heavyweight. I was just focusing about my weight and not about my condition and all those aspects. I didn't know. You know, the night before the Stipe fight, I was in the Foco de Chao eating all those steak.
That's good.
Really?
Yeah, that's good for you.
Before the fight?
Meat.
Oh, no. It's not good at all.
Not good?
Not at all. I was heavy as shit.
Oh, you ate too much.
Yeah.
Did you eat stuff with the meat? Like potatoes and rice? And
Of course.
yeah,
Yes,
that's what I'm talking about. That's where it is.
The night before the couple, like maybe two hours or maybe 1 hour before worked in the arena, I was at Foco de Chao.
An hour before you went to the marine?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, in the arena.
Yeah.
Because I went to the arena like maybe 2 hours before the fight, but 3 hours is not enough
To digest
to
all the food.
digest those
Right.
all those meat and stuff.
Yeah. And so in that fight, you learn all the lessons, and then you change your diet, you enhance your discipline, and you keep working on all your skills.
Yeah. Then you know how we were talking about patience.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I walk into the Stipe fight, the Derek Lewis fight, with like constantly tell myself be patient. And I was there just like telling myself. I think I wasn't even in that fight. I was there, but I was still fighting Stipe. I was like, no, be patient, be patient, be patient.
You were still thinking about getting tired in that first fight, getting taken down, getting controlled.
No, really.
What were
I
you
was
thinking
just
about?
thinking about like patience.
Patience, just
Yeah,
patience.
but I overdo.
we overdid it.
You
I
know,
think we were
I
too
overdid
patient.
it, and he was too much. That's how it turned out. But I was like, patient. You get this. You get
Yeah.
this. That's why at the end of the fight, I'm like, is it over or we still? I was confused. I didn't know that he was even the third round.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was really messed up mentally. I didn't know. I thought I still have a round.
Oh, so what was that feeling like?
And
to
my
go-
corner was telling me, they was telling me everything's good. Like, okay, I think you get one round. The second round, maybe you get this. I don't know. And so I feel like everything was right. So my mind was playing me really bad. That fight.
So what was it like when you went back and watched that fight?
I didn't watch.
You didn't watch it?
Yeah, I feel bad.
Mm.
You know, I feel like I waste a bullet,
Mm.
an important bullet.
Yeah.
And then,
That sets you back.
yeah, I feel very bad. And then the reaction about it, how the way people react about it, you know, you get to the point that I kind of like tell myself like, okay, screw this, fuck everything, man. You know, the reason why I get into combat sport, basically MMA, was because it was fun. I was never going to do MMA. I just kept training like, oh, it's fun, I like it, let's keep going. Then I realized that that fun wasn't there anymore. And that's why I was falling down, because I start focus on about what people think, people reaction, people feelings. And then I forget the reason why I started the sport. So now I get the second fight against Curtis Blade in China. I'm like, okay, this might be the end. I don't think if I lost this fight, it's going to be good for me.
Right.
But at least I earned it. I earned it how I started. Just by fun. Just go there, enjoy yourself, have fun, and don't worry about what's next. And then 45 seconds, the guy was down. And then Ken Velasquez, 25 seconds, the guy was down. I was just there to have fun. Junior Dos Santos, the guy was down. I'm like,
So you
seems like
found your
having
groove.
fun.
You found your
Yeah.
groove again.
Yeah, like having fun is exactly why I'm doing this, and is why I'm good at it. Let's just do it, you know. So I try not to put pressure on me. I'm like, every fight, I'm like, I'm gonna go there, do my best, make sure that everything that should have been done is done on my end, and the rest I don't control it.
Have you ever worked with a sports psychologist?
Man, I don't believe in that. at time.
No?
No, I don't believe. I think everything is in our mind. What you can go out there trying to find all those stuff, but you have it in your mind.
Right.
You can speak to yourself.
Right.
You can question to yourself. I mean, I don't need a sports psychology to tell me why I'm doing this. It's out of passion. I do this because I love it. It's not a job. You understand?
Yeah.
I question myself, like, why did I get here? How come did I came from where I came from and get here? Then I find all those reasons, and then therefore I put my stuff together, right? Maybe some people do. Some people clearly need people to like help them to control themselves. I see that in a lot of fighters. Basically, they need like a coach or something, somebody to tell them what to do. Like they don't know, like to tell them what time to train. Like, you know, you have a fight. You schedule your training at this time. You have this and this to work on. You can schedule that and get there every day at the same time. Do your thing, go home, get ready for another day. But some people do need somebody to get them that.
So do you schedule all your training?
Yeah.
Everything?
I schedule everything.
Really?
Yeah. And my team, I organize all my team, you know, mostly about people that I feel the good energy about, because again, I don't believe in so many things. I don't believe in like, oh, this guy is he's a great trainer, he can do this. No, I believe that everything comes from a fighter and the energy that people around him can bring, can help him win. So when in my team, I favor people energy, people like how the energy that they brings around, you know, I favor them, and that's how I judge if somebody is best or not, is by his energy. And that's how I get along with pretty much everybody of my team. I judge everybody based on his energy. If I feel like I'd rather have a good person next to me, and then, not to say my team is great. They are all great. Everybody is very professional, commit. But if I feel like somebody has this energy and not even great, I prefer that person than somebody that is great trainer and don't bring that energy, because the energy is very important.
Yeah,
you know, when you start to get tired, when you're in the tough situation, the voice that you can listen and still trust is more important than the technique that you can learn. You can know all the techniques in the world, and if you get there, your mind is not right, you are not doing shit.
Yeah. So
But
the energy of the people you got, that's all down. You got a great trainer, Dewey Cooper. He's fantastic.
I still get Dewey Cooper, even Eric Nixick.
Amazing.
We're still in here, because I remember even how we get together. He wasn't much like a coach. I was in fighting Junior Dos Santos, and I have only Dewey Cooper or with Markel on my team, and I asked Markel, like, we should bring somebody in the corner or something, and he talk about Eric. Then I'm like, I always meet Eric around, and he's nice, and I'm like, yes, let's try him. And then we get to the locker. Suddenly, I feel the energy was great. You know, I'm like, man, this is good. I like this vibe. In my team. That's, for me, is enough. You know, that's why, like, sometimes I understand. Once I saw Mike Perry, he went to a fight with only his wife in his corner, and then people was criticizing him. I'm like, I understand him. He's doing the right thing. He understands how the games work. He just wants a voice that can speak to him when he's tired, somebody that he trusts, and all those stuff and everything.
He already knows how to fight.
Yeah. He knows how to fight.
Yeah.
Because nobody is going to raise your hand and punch on somebody's head. Or like nobody is going to dodge a punch for you. Nobody going to say, oh, knock him out now. You know, it's fighting game is mental, more mental and improvisation.
So you schedule everything? You schedule your strength and conditioning, you schedule your sparring, you schedule everything. You just do it all based on how you feel and what you need to get done?
No, like I schedule. I mean, I get a strength and conditioning, for example. For this camp, I get Trip Hard is out here with me, so we talk about the goal. What is the goal? What is the deficiency? What do we want? Where do we want to get by the fight? We are 12 weeks out. Okay, what we want to work on, and would be the good space. Then we get that as schedule. Then with the boxing team, we speak around. But I always try to get my team together, so sometimes they can just work together. They don't always need to come to me on staff. My team can communicate together also on my schedule. But yes.
So when you train and you do strength and conditioning, are you using a heart rate monitor? Are you paying attention to your resting heart rate, what it's like when you wake up, your heart rate variability? Do you get involved in any of those things?
Sometimes, not always. Sometimes I even do the test to see where I am at.
VO2 max?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the VO2 max. But we focus on... I think like the most important thing for me right now, my endurance. It's all about my endurance,
Do you have other injuries other than your knee?
Injury, no. I mean, you get sore, you get little.
Right.
If you get to a training camp to the end without pain somewhere, then you better worry.
You probably didn't do enough.
Yeah, you probably didn't do it right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
That's the reality of the
That's
sport.
the reality of the sport. You can like train hard for 3 months and feel great every day and don't feel like something's wrong. No,
Right.
that's mean.
Yeah.
You're not doing something right.
Is it easier to train for boxing because you don't have to do the wrestling, you don't have to do the kicking? Is it like less likely that you get injured?
Sometimes you think so, but when you get there, it's different. Like in the first 2 weeks, it wasn't even a training camp; it was a pre-camp. My first 2 weeks in boxing, straight boxing, I felt the different. Of course, you get excited because, you're not going to kick or take down or this. It's just boxing. You're not going to. You don't risk injury for your knee and that, because now I always think about my knee. Then you get there, you start to hit parts, do all those stuff. Always your hands up, and then your shoulders start to hurt. Then you throw more punch in 2 weeks than you have ever thrown in the training camp, in the 3 month training camp. Then I'm like, there is a difference. Your shoulder feels different. Like it's not the same thing. In MMA, you throw 1, 2, kick, 1, 2, 3, kick, 1, take down. Daily boxing, wrestling, cage wrestling, all those stuff. No, in boxing, your hands has to go all the time, and when he's not going, he has to be on your face, protecting your face. Otherwise, you're gonna eat that punch clearly.
Yeah. So when you prepare for a fight like this, you've never had a big professional boxing fight before, and this is the biggest of all time. I mean, you're literally fighting the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah.
How do you know when to peak? How do you know like when you're ready? Because you haven't done this kind of training before.
You will never be ready. Even at the fight night, you will always think like, if I have this, maybe I should have done this instead. Maybe this would have helped me. When is the go time you have to go? So you just have to make sure to get there in your best.
The best you can do.
The best you can do without burnout, because there's also a balance in between.
Right.
Because if you overdo, then you burn out by the time you get to a fight.
That's why I was asking about heart rate monitors and checking your resting heart rate and heart rate variability, because one of the best ways to find out if you are overtrained is to check your resting heart rate when you wake up first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's up 8 beats a minute, 10 beats a minute, most likely you went too hard. And then they'd suggest like an active recovery day, a lighter training day, where you're still moving, you're still working on technique, but you're not pushing. You're not really pushing.
And you, even when your heart rate monitor indicate that, I used to use the Aura watch, and when he almost indicate how you feel. You feel it,
right?
You know, there is and then when you have a good team, they can also measure the mass of your training, and they can also work around it. They know, okay, Monday and Tuesday we went hard on this. Wednesday has to be slow and this, you know, maybe work on technique or like on the strain, on this and that, all those aspects. And that's why a team is very good about, because you can like by yourself think about everything. No,
you need other people.
Yeah. You need other people to help you because things get so big. You need other people to help you, and everybody is kind of like have his own department to worry about.
And so when you're training, how much sparring are you doing? How many days a week?
3 or 2 sometimes. It depends, again, how you feel and how the recovery been, how was the sparring. You know, sometimes you get sparring and you feel like, yeah, even though you did the amount of round that you're supposed to do, but it wasn't that intense and this. Then the next day, no, maybe you push again, you know, and sometimes you just go to a sparring, and that's when it's hard. The guy gives you a hard time. You push, the pace is high, and this. Then next day, maybe you need to recovery, not like recovery, but slow it down, give your shoulder some rest, because you'll always end up on maybe heavy backs. Like, it's all about that balance. But it's like 2-3 a week.
And are you sparring with any world-class heavyweights?
World class so far, no. The only guy that I used to spar with, which is a world class heavyweight, it's Carlos Takam, and he's now just coming in the training camp because he's also gonna fight in on the card, which is a world class, and we're gonna get. We were talking about some guy that we were bringing, like experienced fighters, boxer, to spar.
What is it like for you to spar boxers and not be able to kick, not be able to take them down? Does it create any adjustment for you?
I wasn't an expert of kicking either way. So
but you kick hard.
Again, I wasn't an expert of kicking, and I wasn't an expert of taking down.
Right. That's true. But you did defend your heavyweight title, a lot of it with wrestling because of your knee.
Yeah, because I couldn't do, that was the only option that I had.
Right.
You know, I wasn't comfortable moving.
Right.
I was permanently.
We should tell people, you went into that fight to defend your heavyweight title with torn knee ligaments.
Yeah.
Your knee was fucked up going into that fight.
MCL.
That's crazy.
Meniscus.
And you're fighting Cyril Gane, who's the most agile, light-footed heavyweight.
He moves
in the
everywhere. Like,
Ooh.
I'm like, okay, I need to figure a way.
Nobody moves like that guy.
Yeah. But one thing that helped me into that fight a lot, I believe in myself. I know that I'm going to get him. I wasn't looking for knockout. Once again, I wasn't looking for a knockout, but I know that I'm going to have my opportunity at some moment in the fight. That's where, like, the first 2 rounds, I was literally, like, worried about how to move, and this and that, like, oh, my knee, oh, this, you know. But I was still confident. And after the first 2 rounds, I'm like, man, I'm losing. It can't end like this. No, not like this. We need to do something.
Switch it up.
To switch it up, man. Like, yeah.
Was that a satisfying victory for you, though, knowing that you could beat one of the best heavyweights in the world with only one leg?
He was satisfying, yes, by far the best, because he wasn't one fight at that night. That night, I was fighting like 4 opponents. I was fighting my demons, my knee, this, everything.
The contract.
I was fighting the contract. I was fighting the narrative. I was fighting everything that can go wrong. and I couldn't strip this fight better than this. If you had asked me like how would you like to win, I would say knockout, obviously, which is the easiest way.
Right.
But everybody predicted me to be like, okay, he has a chance in the first round to knock Siri out. After that, his power is going down, then his cardio is going down. He has nothing. It was the completely opposite way. They say, oh, Siri Ngannou has a cardio after 2 rounds, after a fight. He can fight 2 fights a night. I'm like, bro, come on. It depends, you know. And at the end of the fight, I'm like, I'm not sure that he's ready to fight another fight, to take another fight on tonight, you know. And unlike what they predicted, I lost the 2 first round, and I started to win from the 3rd round, which is like the contrary of what they predicted.
Yeah.
So,
But nobody knew that your knee was that fucked up either, though. The UFC knew it was injured. They let you wrap it,
no,
right?
they know everything.
They knew everything?
Yeah. When I did the MRI, he went to Dr. Davison, and then when he was explaining it to me, he said, only 4 people know about this by now: Dana, Hunter, you, and I. That's when how he was explaining.
Did you consider pulling out of the fight?
I thought, yeah. In the perfect scenario, I would have pulled out a fight, you know. But I didn't want to give them an opportunity.
Another extension.
It wasn't about the extension. It was just to bury me. I don't want to give the opportunity to bury me.
Yeah.
You know how in this world they say, okay, I'm going to die with my saw in my hand?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like, okay, I'm dying with my saw in my hand.
Yeah. Whew. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But when I heard when they explained me what was going on in my knee, I was very worried. Then for somehow I call Kamaru, or he called me. Anyway, we were in the phone and we were talking, and he was explaining me like what he had and this. And I remember once I saw him in Vegas when he fought, I think it was Kobe Covington the first time, and the guy was messed up, man. He was working like this in the fight week, getting cortisone shot here and there. I'm like, damn, this guy is going to fight. No, maybe it was Tyron Woodley. Said, so this guy is going to fight on Saturday. I was so worried. I feel bad about it. Man, at that night, he was sharp. This is the guy that I saw him on Wednesday. He was barely able to walk. He was sharp. And I know exactly what was wrong with him. So that kind of like hurt me to believe that, man, when comes the moment, you know, your fighting instinct will take off.
Kamaru is so strong mentally.
Oh, man.
If people knew how bad his knees are. His knees are so bad. He has to go backwards downstairs sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And then you'll be like, oh, his hips, his this. I'm like, bro, you can't pull out the fight. No, he's going to fight. And then he show up to the fight.
Looks perfect.
Looks perfect. I'm like, there's no way that is, you know. So I kind of like, that's kind of like inspiring me, like, feel better about myself. I'm like, man, I can't do this. You know, like, it's not over yet.
Right.
I still have something left. So I keep, even though I couldn't train anymore, I couldn't rest, so I couldn't do anything. And I was 3 weeks and a half away from the fight. So I started to focus on my air bike, you know. Cardio, up work, you know, body work. But wasn't easy. But I think my air bike helped me a lot, because from not being trained for over 3 weeks before the fight and get there like that wasn't too bad.
That airbag's a motherfucker. The air bike. Yeah.
Hey.
Air assault. I use the Echo bike, the Rogue Echo bike.
No, I always use the assault. I like the assault one. You know,
Yeah.
I like the grind. Like, you feel the monster.
Gears, yeah.
Yes, you feel the monster. Like you're pushing into your knee.
Such a good workout.
Yeah. I have it in my living room. I sat in the room and put the TV in front, and I will ride that thing like for hours. Yeah, to work on my cardio.
Yeah, it's amazing for cardio. It's my favorite machine.
And for heavyweight, it's not great for you being out there running in the concrete or putting all those weight on your joint.
Right.
With the air bike, you do the same thing without putting all those stress into your joint. I'm like, man, I think this is like probably the best device for me.
Yeah. No, it's the best device for a lot of people. It's a phenomenal piece of equipment. So what else were you doing for recovery? Do you get massages? Do you use the sauna? Do you use the cold plunge? What else do you do?
Physical therapy. I just get a cold plunge from Planche. And then I set that up. I was able to make it work this week. I use that. I do the hyperbaric.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I do the hyperbaric chamber. I have a friend in Vegas who has a hyperbaric store. So she's even partner with Misha Tate.
Okay.
And Janelle. They have a Desmond hyperbaric. So I go there sometime. They have this hardcore one. I used to like get someone in my house, but he will be the soft one.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Yeah, it's not as good.
No, you want a real one.
Yeah, you can also. I think that can only go to 1.3 or something.
Yeah, you want 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the hot one, you go
We
to
should say,
2.
we should explain. That means 2 environments, twice the normal oxygen in the environment.
Yeah. So I go there time to time, dive into that thing.
Yeah. No, that's phenomenal for recovery.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're using all most sophisticated materials and equipments. And what about supplements? Do you have someone who monitors your supplements and your nutrition?
I try. Yes, for nutrition always.
When
I have a fight, I have a chef. Yes,
yeah.
I have a chef. I always do that when I have a fight. But for supplement, I don't know. I never able to like connect with, to like get along with supplement. I always like, I don't know.
Take them, don't take them, forget to take
take them, don't take them. I used to be at the PI, and then Glenn, they will always like get those back ready for me, and with all the vitamins and how to take it every day. And I would take it like 2, 3, 4 days, and after
just quit.
Yeah.
Did you notice a difference taking it or not taking it?
I don't know.
It's all hard, right?
I don't know.
It's all hard.
It's really hard.
One thing that you don't have to think about with this fight is your weight. Like, you don't have to make the 265-pound weight limit.
Well,
what are you walking around at?
It's still different, because like the weight limit, even when I fight MMA, sometimes I get there at 260, below 260. It's not because I'm cutting weight. It's
You're
because,
not thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about it. I mean, I do work in order to like get my weight down, but I don't cut weight. I don't like have a big process of diet, to cut weight. No, I just train properly and eat properly with the chef, and sometime by myself to get there. But even now, I still have to think about it, because based on the game plan, I don't want to have an extra 10 pound, unnecessary 10 pound on me.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't also want to lose a strength, because, as I said, this guy is a big dude.
Yeah.
And he has the skills to lean on people, weigh them down, stuff like that. I think there's gonna be a little bit of a wrestling there. I need to get my strength right, so he has to be a balance. And I walk around like 275, 280, my normal weight, walk around weight. But I think might get in the fight at 265. I don't know. It depends on how we decide to go. Yeah.
So without giving away too much of your strategy, how do you envision this fight taking place? Like, you've never boxed a heavyweight like him before. You obviously have tremendous skills and power. How do you envision this fight taking place?
Well, it's very hard to envision. Sometimes I just visualize the fight, me there in the ring. I suppose I'm going to be the blue corner, being there waiting for him to get in the ring. He knows all the sides of the ring. He's been there. He knows all the corner, how to move, how to cut. everything, and I'm gonna be there, figure out how to cut the ring. You know, it's really hard. I think I just gonna focus on like being composed. You know, don't think about so much stuff. And again, I would like the knockout, but you know, Tyson is very slicky, and you can go like you want to knock him out. So I'm preparing in the way that this fight can go all the way to 10 rounds. Yeah, which is a disadvantage for me. I never fight boxing at that level, you know, so managing my energy, how I gonna be feeling with all the pressure and the adrenaline, how are they gonna be like in the 10 rounds, you know? So how can I maximize it the most? Is about that. It's a lot of, I visualize it a lot. I think about it, trying to be there that night, waiting for him, say him come, do his show, you know, get there, trying to do his slick stuff, you know, weigh me down, slick, dirty boxing, come close, trying to lean on my head because he's taller than me. But I think, yeah. But I think I'm gonna handle that dirty boxing properly, because usually like boxing guy I have seen a lot in sparring, and since everybody wanna do the same thing like Tyson, like trying to prepare you for that, there's still those wrestling trick that you can get into. Sometimes I'm like go under the shoulder and step in their back.
Right.
Yeah, which is something that boxers they don't do, they don't know. So yeah, and I don't have to worry about that still.
Are you going to have, like, I know that when Sugar Ray Leonard made his comeback, one of the things that he did was he had actual fights. Like, to prepare himself so he didn't have any ring rust, he would have actual fights in the gym with, like, regulation-sized gloves, no headgear, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever it was. He would have actual fights.
I think we had that a lot of time. I mean, we fight MMA with 4-ounce gloves.
Right.
Right? And we don't fight with headgear.
Right, right.
With kicks and everything. So I'm not worried about that. And we used to spar. When you're a MMA fighter, they don't spar boxing with the protection.
Right.
With the headgear and stuff. Right. They just go in the gym. They don't worry the size of their gloves.
Right.
But boxing guys, they come to the gym, everything is checked. Like, what's the size of the gloves? They check the headgears, the cup, and all the stuff. I mean, now I do that to protect myself. I have a fight in less than 6 weeks, so I take all those precautions. But I don't think I'm gonna do that by now. You know, if I was 6 months out, yes, I can do something like that. But now I have no interest of doing that. Right. I know I can deal with that. I have got hit with 4-ounce gloves, you know, in the fight. I have been there. I haven't done boxing yet, but I have been in fighting.
Yes.
More than once. So I'm gonna be okay. And one thing that and we are going to talk about is Tyson gloves. He's very tricky with his glove.
With
I think
his
he's
gloves?
cheating. Yeah,
You think he's cheating?
I have heard a
What
lot
way?
of complaint about his gloves, which is like his glove has no protection.
Where have you heard this from?
Even when he fought Deontay Wilder,
Yeah.
he complained about that.
Yeah, but did you ever look into that,
Direct
though?
Tisora complained about that.
Yeah.
And that's what we are talking about the team. And then I'm like, oh, yes, the UK commission, the gloves. I'm like, bro, we're going to get there. We need every gloves to be checked. You don't tell me about this commission. All the gloves get to be checked. I don't want, if you want us to fight bare hands, bare knickers, let's go bare knickers. But don't give me a 10-ounce gloves and wear a 8-ounce or 6-ounce glove because he has no protection. Nah.
You really think he's doing that?
I think so. I mean, I have heard.
Yeah, I've seen the Deontay Wilder videos, but they're not convincing. Here's why. They're showing those videos in slow motion. And in slow motion, it looks like his glove is flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
But that's just because it's in slow motion. When you watch him boxing, he's doing this. You know, he flicks. He shows you it, pop, and then he drops a big punch in.
But
So in slow motion, it looks like it's all floppy, like it's not connected. And you think that the gloves are really like just flopping around, and where his knuckles are is where the wrap is. But that's not the case, because if you look at the length of his arm,
yeah,
none
but
of
his
that makes
opponent,
sense.
but his opponent complains about his gloves.
Yeah, I don't know if they're right.
I mean, they might not be.
I
but
don't know
at
if
least
they're right.
we
understand that.
have to check that.
Yeah, well,
we have
I'm
to
sure.
check that.
I think it's legit. I think he's legit. I just think he's that good.
No, he's good. He's good.
And his
No.
style of like
Yeah.
keeping that hand loose and flicking. So sometimes that wrist opens way up, and if you look at it in slow motion, people are like, look, his glove's not even attached. His glove's attached. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because after he does this, he does this. There's no way he's doing this if his glove's not attached. It's attached. He just looses his hands, because a lot of his punches, he's just showing you things. He's showing you things. Bang! He's showing you this, and then he's doing all this. So a lot of it is loose, and he's just popping you at that like a whip. You know?
Well, I think we have nothing to lose by double check.
Nothing to lose by double check.
Yeah,
That's
because
true.
it's been more than once that people talk about his gloves.
Right, but nobody
and even
that
his
beats him.
opponent, even his opponent.
Yeah, I'm sure they talk about it. He
Yeah,
kicks their ass.
so-
People looking for reasons. Like Deontay Wilder thought he got poisoned. You know, he thought right? He thought a lot of things. But, you know, that's because the guy's that good. He's fucking good, man, you know? And I
But-
just think that style, when you look at it in slow motion, it might look like his gloves are not attached, but they are most certainly attached.
But in the boxing world, you have to worry
It's a
about
dirty
everything.
world. You're
It's a
right.
dirty world.
That's a
you have
dirty
to
world.
worry about everything.
Yeah. That's
I
a
mean,
dirty
if
world.
somebody says something in the boxing, you better just double check.
Double check.
Double check.
What has Tyson brought to the table? Like training with Mike Tyson. Like
Mm.
what did he help you with, and what kind of strategies did he give you, and what kind of thought process? Like what is his approach to you fighting Tyson Fury?
I mean, asking that question makes me feel like you don't really understand. Like, I grew up idolizing Mike Tyson,
Yes.
right?
Everybody did.
And then as having a dream to become a world-class boxer, my first boxing match, Mike Tyson is in the gym like, oh no, this, that. I'm like, come on a moment. Like, this is real. This is where I get. So it's real. This
Your
is legit.
first boxing match.
Yeah, this is
Mike
legit.
Tyson's in your corner.
I
Crazy.
get Mike Tyson cheer. Like, even mentally, like just thinking like that,
Like hearing him cheer you on.
sometimes I'm like, yes, it's him, right? Like, I'm not tripping.
You
know,
have
like,
to check because it's really Mike Tyson.
I'm like, okay, this thing is
Yeah.
serious. And not only he's there and he believes that you can beat this guy. That's how it is. So, like, he put his faith on you, a guy that have done everything in boxing, that is there. I'm like, so he see me as somebody that can do this.
Mm.
We were talking about like mental stuff. There's some mental stuff that
Yeah.
are heavy, right? Not to mention his technique. Mike Tyson has a unique style that I wish I had his style, but I'm not going to expect to copy his style because it's unique to him.
Well, he's also built very different
But
than you.
he's built different. He was always short, the shortest guy in the room.
Yeah.
So with his opponent, which is the case in this fight, I'm the shortest, his technique, if I can get... and then one thing that people always see is how strong he was. He was knocking people out. And nobody was impressed of how he was able to move from left to right. And this, how his footwork and all those stuff, how he was that short and was able to get into the distance when he wanted to hit and all those stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is something that very interesting. With Mike Tyson, one best thing that you can get from Mike Tyson is the footwork. Footwork.
Yeah.
Change from left to right,
Yeah.
you know. Because in boxing, everything is about your foot.
Mm-hmm.
And his footwork, his power was based on his base, on his footwork.
Yeah.
You know, like when you have a good base, your punch is definitely stronger when you don't have a good base. how to have that good base to send your punch when you're
Right.
base, right?
Yes.
And if you look at Mike Tyson, all his fight in his career, he was all about the base, the footwork.
Yes.
I watch his training sometime on YouTube still, and then you see how he's flipping. I'm like, it's not possible that heavyweight can do
I
this.
know, for a heavyweight,
Yeah.
that's just crazy. So here's you guys working
yeah,
together.
Look. And this was 4 years ago. This was the first time that I met Mike Tyson. This was in 2019 on his podcast. And he was always about his footwork.
Yeah, I mean, he was so well trained, and when he was young, the way he would move
see?
in and
Yeah,
bob
look,
and
look,
weave.
look,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And he gets you go on that knee. I'm like, okay, everything is in the leg, in the thigh. You do that like twice, I'm like, okay, I think I need some low body workout. I'm not strong enough.
Yeah, he had a lot of footwork and movement, and
that's why his leg is like this big, like a tree trunk.
right, a lot of bobbing and weaving too.
Yeah.
People forget; they just think he was a hard puncher.
Yeah,
Just
no,
watch
people.
him fight. He was
Yeah,
so
people
elusive.
forget. He showed you how he showed me how he was training for his leg. Go all the way down and do like this duck work and stuff. I'm like, man, come on. And that's what he did all his career. And people don't see that. They just see like, oh, he hit hard, he's strong. No, he's technical and he's hard worker.
Technical, hard worker, tremendous speed, perfect technique, everything.
Yeah.
All the above. And he hits hard.
He hits hard.
Everything. All
I
the
mean,
above.
when you put all those when you combine all those stuff, there's no way you don't hit hard.
Right, right. So does he have an idea, like looking at your frame and Tyson Fury's frame, does he have an idea of the way you should approach the fight? Does he give you pointers, like what he thinks that you would do that would be successful against Tyson Fury?
Of course. Because his entire career, he almost fight people that was like Tyson Fury.
Right.
So, and that's why I explicitly
Went to him.
about this fight, because I feel like, again, if I was able to have like let's say a quarter of what Mike Tyson have, this fight would be an easy fight.
You think so, really?
I mean, there's not an easy fight, but he will be an easier fight.
Wow. I mean, out of all your day, 24 hours a day, how often do you think about the fight? Every minute?
Not every minute, but well, now that you're talking about it, I don't even know that I'm thinking about a fight when I think about the fight.
Right. It's just natural.
It's just natural. It's my life.
Yeah.
It's like the most important thing is what I do
Yeah.
every day. Even when I don't fight, even when I don't have a fight, I think about fight. It's just like my thing. So I can't tell exactly how often I think about a fight. But I know sometime I'll go to sleep and then he will just come in my mind and then you start think, start exploring those stuff. And sometimes it's exciting. I mean, most of the time it's exciting. Sometimes it's also nervous. Yes, you're also nervous about like the thought that you have. I'm like, hey man, maybe I'm missing this. Maybe I'm not taking this serious. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe that. So, which is good because after you have those feeling, those moments that you're not too confident. Sometimes I'm like, I think I shouldn't go to bed. I didn't do enough today. I'm like, no, I shouldn't do enough today. Like, I need to do more.
So here we are now. What is today? September 21st. So you're about 6 weeks out? Is it about?
5.5.
5.5 weeks out.
5 weeks and 2 days.
So you ramp up now, and then you taper off the last week.
Mm.
And when will you be in Saudi Arabia?
Earlier.
A couple weeks out?
Yeah, couple weeks out. 3-4 weeks.
So exciting, man.
Yeah. You will be there.
I wish I could be there.
Walk around, process, think about the fight.
Yeah.
Think about everything.
Yeah.
That single day. that your war gonna change.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? What would October 29 looks like?
What do you think is going to happen?
It's gonna be a celebration. It's gonna be disappointment. What's gonna be? October 29 morning, waking up.
Exciting,
You're
huh?
gonna feel like the king of the combat sport.
There it is.
Oh,
Look at that.
What's gonna
Look
be?
at that poster. Damn, that's a great poster.
oh no, you haven't seen anything,
Really?
anything at all. The production behind this fight, pfft, insane. We have like 5-day production.
Really?
At some point, I'm like, hey guys. But the good thing about the production, wherever we are going for production, I have my team with me there. I'm like, I still have to train, regardless of a promotion. I have a fight coming up. I have to keep my training schedule, and then they bring all my entire team with me, from the chef to the coach, nutrition. Everybody is with me. So I'm like, okay.
Do you have a prediction for this fight?
Man, prediction for this fight. Knock him out. No, I don't want to have a prediction, because I will want to follow.
Right.
That might stick in my mind, and I want to execute my prediction.
Right.
Maybe just
Let it
train
flow.
properly, let it flow, get there, and let what happen. Just fight. Focus on fighting. Make sure you fight. Make sure you're ready to give everything in there.
Yeah.
And some moment,
It must be so exciting for you to have made that deal, though, because everybody said that wasn't going to happen.
yes.
I read so many commentators saying Francis is wasting his time. They're never going to give him a fight. And then,
That was one. That was, you were asking me like, if this deal is a money. That was a money too, you know. Once again, to prove people wrong. Like, hey, you motherfucker, you were wrong. I'm right again.
well, for people who don't know your story, how you went from Cameroon and went to Morocco and got sent back, we tried to make it across to Europe, what, 7 times?
7 times.
7 times. And you were
I mean,
homeless at the time?
I failed 6 times.
Yeah.
Succeeded the 7th time.
But that kind of resolve and that kind of discipline and that kind of drive, that's very special. And you, I think you got something from that experience and to prove what you're capable of.
No, don't think. You have to know.
I know.
You have to know. Like sometime I think about my life. While I was going to on my upcoming, going through all this process, I was always pissed, upset, like why all those things happen to me. Am I cursed? Like what it is that nothing can go right for me. But when I think about it today, even though I can go back to that path, I think it was a blessing. Because like the life lesson that I have learned from my journey, seems like my journey was just preparing me for this moment, for the life that I'm having now. Like you get to the point that, you know, the moment that I kind of like find out that I'm rich, it's not the moment that I check my bank account and see money. It's not the moment that I own a house. It's not the moment that I had a house, a car. It's the moment that I check myself. I'm like, okay, what can possibly happen to me that I can handle, that I haven't seen? And I say nothing. I can handle everything. I can overcome everything. So therefore, I wasn't afraid of anything. I can go ahead and let what happen happen. I'm not afraid of falling because I know that I have the ability to stand up. And that's what my life taught me. Again, even though I didn't choose that part, but he did taught me that way. And I think it's like one thing that carries me where I am now. Yeah.
So let's talk about your PFL deal. So where are they going to get opponents for you? Like who's in the heavyweight division right now in the PFL?
They're going to figure that out.
So they probably have to hire people, just try to contract people that are...
Yeah, and they are looking for an option because my fight's supposed to fight in the PF beginning of next year, February or March.
So after this fight in October, you'll take some time off and then go to MMA training.
Yeah.
And then get ready for the PFL.
I have there is some legit people in the division. There is this guy, Renan Ferreira.
Mm-hmm.
I think this guy is legit. Nobody is seeing him. Nobody is like really talking about him. I'm like, keep eyes on this guy. You're gonna see. He's like 6'5", 6'6" guys, Brazilian guy. But the way he moves, I'm like, the way he boxes, the way he does things. If you check that guy, you can tell me about it.
Mm.
Yeah. So there's other than that, what can there be? Who is in the roster right now? Ante Delaya. Is Ante Delaya, I think. Yeah.
So they're
Those two,
probably going to
but
have to
they're gonna
recruit.
fight.
They're going to have to recruit some top tier heavyweights if they want you to fight them.
I wish.
Mm.
Yeah. Otherwise, they have to make a tournament to get a winner that are gonna fight. But I think they need some recruitment.
And how many fights is your contract with the PFL?
Multiple.
Multiple?
Multiple.
5, 6?
No. Oh,
3?
no. I can't get those.
You don't want to give out the details. But you're happy with everything, though?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy the way that it goes, the way that the structure, how the freedom that I have inside the contract, and I'm also more happy and excited about the PFL Africa, because in the deal we have this PFL Africa that we have to launch in the beginning of 2025, and that's how we're gonna expand MMA in Africa. You know, it's something that I've been working on, trying how to get this there, and it was hard. And now I get a whole operation that's gonna be dedicated for that. I mean, the work is in the process already, but the first event gonna be beginning of 2025. So I'm quite excited about that. I want to see those monsters that are in Africa get there, come over and knock people out, chop their heads up in the octagon.
One of the things you've done that's very nice is that you've negotiated a minimum purse for your opponents too, right?
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I don't want just to feel like a guy that goes there and grab the money. Okay, give me the money. I want this, I want that, right? And then I'm fighting this guy that probably doesn't have a chance because he's struggling. He can have a proper training. You know, I'm here having my fancy life, my organized training. I can have all the doctor that I want. I can have the team that I want, nutritionist, this coach, that. And then I fight a guy that didn't have a chance, and he's in this big fight because without him, without the opponent, the fight is not happening. So he's a part of it. And I'm like, okay, don't just make me look like the grab and go guy. What is my opponent is having? It's going to be a big moment. It's going to be in the big fight, right? What is it going to be for him? So we set a minimum of 2 million for him.
Wow.
And again, that's a minimum. If they get somebody that have a leverage to negotiate for more, then you can negotiate for more. But if the guy is the guy that doesn't have a leverage, they don't just have to pressure him like, oh no, you have to fight this opportunity. We are doing this for you. No, you're doing this for money. He better have has his own money. So can we at least guarantee that for this magnitude of a fight, he will have at least 2 million as a purse? And that was something that wasn't even difficult to have because, again, PFL was very open about that. He was like, That's our vision for the sport. Granted, we didn't
Really?
have to go back and forth for that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, we didn't. That didn't take 3 minutes to get done.
Because how much do you think an average UFC fighter is getting paid in the heavyweight division for a fight?
I don't know. I don't check their contract, bro.
Right.
I know how much I was making, and sometimes it wasn't fun.
Hmm.
I know what I could have made, but I know that I have to pay another price for that.
What other price?
Contract freedom.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
So how good was the money that they were offering you to sign for the UFC?
he was good. He was good enough, but
It's just the other parts of it.
the terms,
Yeah.
a lot of.
Where's the PFL getting all this money?
Huh?
Because they don't have a pay-per-view model. So how are they getting all this money?
They are setting a super fight,
They are?
super pay-per-view fight. So
For you-
I'm gonna
when
be
you fight?
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
fight. And there's also Jake Paul that will potentially
that's
fight
right.
in the super fight.
Who is he going to fight? Because I heard they're talking about him fighting Nate Diaz.
I don't know.
If they did that on an undercard with you, that would be a big draw. You know,
A
because
massive.
their boxing match was pretty close.
Yeah, that would be massive card. But yeah, I do like the PFL business model, that structure as a business. So
Yeah. Well, my hope is that it looks like they're buying Bellator, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that. Nothing has been confirmed. I don't know why he's taking so long. We should have been hearing some news.
If that happens, that changes a lot. Because then you get some real legit heavyweights, you get some real legit lightweights, welterweights, real legit fighters.
Yeah, imagine the roster
Yeah.
the merging of the roster.
That would be very good.
Very
You got
interesting.
guys like Johnny Elbin, who's a high level middleweight, one of the best in the world. You get some really good fighters over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But you know, importantly for the fighters, there needs to be competition. There has to be options.
There have to be option. There have to be competition.
And at the end of the day, you, the heavyweight champion of the UFC, leaving the UFC and going to the PFL is good for everybody, I believe. Because I believe it strengthens that organization, which strengthens the opportunities for fighters.
Yeah, and maybe open a lot of fighter eyes because until most fighters, they have like a one-sided vision. They don't see it. They don't even know that they have other opportunities.
Right.
Which is like something that make things very complicated for them. Then they're just like, okay, whatever. What else can I do? I have seen people that get caught by the UFC and then they go somewhere else, whether it's in PFL, and I'm like, oh, I have a new life. I didn't know that I could make that much money on my career.
Right.
I remember once I saw a tweet, and that tweet stuck in my mind. He was from Corey Anderson.
Yes.
After he left, I think he get caught or he left the UFC, and then had a deal with Bellator. And then he went there. He make a tweet like, UFC give me a career, but Bellator give me a life. I love that tweet.
Yeah, he said he made way more money in Bellator.
Yeah. I wonder why. I mean, like, after this fight, I'm gonna go out there, fight in the PFL, and for one fight in the PFL, I'm gonna be making maybe twice or 3 times what I have made in my entire career or in my entire life.
That's crazy.
So you understand the difference between career and life.
Yes. That's crazy. That's crazy. Good for you, man. Good for you, and good
Thank
for
you, bro.
good for the whole sport. I really believe that. I really believe that all that competition is good for the sport.
I believe that too, and I think the sport is really changing. You know, like now we get all those different organizations, and soon we're gonna have something in Africa, massive. There's already some organization in Africa, but we need to get pushed. Kamaru Usman has his own organization named I think African Knockout. There's like some organization in South Africa, somewhere else too, and then yeah. But with the PFL, the way that they're gonna structure the fund, how they're gonna fund it, this is gonna be massive because we are structuring the PFL Africa as same as the PFL Europe, because the PFL is having a regional PFL. So every fighter from Europe, PFL fighter from Europe, is fighting in the one pool to get a champion. Then we can fight in the PFL Global. In Africa, they have we're gonna have the same thing. Whoosh, they're gonna have basically almost the same pay. And when you think about the currency, it's make this in Africa like massive economy, investment in the economy, because those guys are gonna have money, and they're gonna start think about like how they train properly, who they train with. They're gonna finance, they're gonna pay people around them, and business gonna grow around it and help infrastructure taking off and those stuff. I'm very excited about it. And the reason why is because like sometimes I want to train home, and then I realize I can't have even a sparring partner, a legit sparring partner, because they don't even have where to train. They haven't been training properly. You know, they don't have a high competition. They don't have stuff like that. So they can dedicate their time that much for training rather than go working to provide for their family. Right. You know, but if they were able to dedicate all their time for training, how would that look like? You know, I might just as well move home in a couple years and just chill and have my set my training, come here. You know, set something like what you did here in Africa. Nice. Yeah, and just sit there, have my calm, have my training partners at home. You know. Yeah. Enjoying it from there.
And what an inspiration that would be for them. So young fighters that like don't know, am I ever going to have a future? And then someone comes from Cameroon, goes to the UFC, becomes a champ, goes to the PFL, fights Tyson Fury, and then comes back to Africa and trains with everybody.
I'm back already. It's not like after fight Tyson Fury, I'm back. I have a foundation. I have a gym there. We just opened the second location. Beautiful. In Douala. And this is a massive facility.
That's awesome.
You know,
that's
huge.
Beautiful.
Yes, we were helped by a betting company named Premier Bet that helped us build this massive in the city, bro. Like,
that's great.
Yeah, in the city. And we are about to build the third one. We're trying to do like some charity event, make them fight, because it's boring to just train and train and train. You know, they need something to get motivated by. So we put like some events, you know, like the fight people from different country, so you get them excited and have focus, you know. All so right. Well, and I enjoy that part. I enjoy that process.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Francis, listen, congratulations on getting this deal. Congratulations on getting this fight. And I wish you all the best of luck in the Tyson Fury fight and your PFL fights. And if you're fighting, I'm watching.
Thank you. Thank you. Unfortunately, you will not be calling.
I can't be calling.
Come on, Joe. Man.
I wish I could.
I can still see you walk in the octagon with your mic. I think I'll be looking with Joe around.
I won't be there, but I'll be there in spirit.
Okay.
All right.
I love that.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Good luck
Joe.
to you. All right.
Appreciate
Bye, everybody.
Bye.